Okay, cool. Right, so one leg down, one leg up. What I want you to do is tilt your pelvis under. Imagine you've got headlights on your backside and you're pointing them at the floor. You get a bit of tension through the front of your hip. This is your hip flexor or your psoas. I want you to keep that tuck and keep that tension as you slide this leg forward and leave your shoulders behind. So you're creating that curve in the front of your hip. Okay, I want you to connect in with the psoas muscle and take it to its point of stretch and hold it there. For those of you who've done this before and want to try something more advanced, we're looking at progression of the stretch. So the way you can trick your nervous system into allowing you further into a stretch is by contracting the opposite muscle. So the opposite muscle here would be, or the opposite movement here would be to drive the knee forward, this back knee. So, but it's isometric, which means you don't actually go anywhere. So it's just an intention to contract and drive the knee forward. I want you to do that for 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds, breathe out, relax further into the stretch. I hope I'm making sense. Take a big breath in. Contract your knee, left knee forward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. And go further into the stretch. Hold at its new point of stretch. Hopefully what you can feel here is you're not just relaxing into a comfortable point of the stretch, we're actually getting a lengthening effect of the muscle. So we're going to change posture. Take a big breath in, contract your knee, 2, 3, 4, 5, and last time, taking it to its new position. It should feel fairly uncomfortable. Hold there for 15 seconds and just visualize the muscle relaxing. Almost feel that stretch dissipate until it's a comfortable position. And then slowly come out of that stretch. Okay, if you get that right, it's a really strong stretch, a really powerful stretch. Let's do it on the other side now. So if you're stretching the right psoas, the left leg goes up. Don't forget to point those headlights at the floor. Keep the tension on, or the tuck and the lengthening on the psoas, and then slide forward, opening that out. When you hit that point of resistance, that point where your body says no, then we're going to just go into our contract, relax cycle. So breathe in, drive the knee forward and squeeze the psoas. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out and go further forward. Make sure your hips are square on so you don't just open out to make it easy for yourself. I like to push that knee in a little. Breathe in. Contract. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. And relax. We'll do one more cycle of this. Just give it a few seconds. Breathe in. Contract. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. And relax. Good work. And then hold it there for 10 seconds. Big deep breathe in, feel the muscle relax, dissipate. And then just gently push back with your front foot and come out of the stretch. Good, okay. Now, let's get into that position. I want you to, I'll show you the right piriformis stretch. Most of you have done this. Bring your right leg forward, straight, then tuck your foot underneath the left side of your hip. Then you go down onto your forearms and slide the leg backwards. Now I'm going to rotate my hip, the left side of my hip forward, and increase the stretch on the right side of my hip. This is your piriformis muscle. I've started with these two muscles because commonly we see in the gym, everyone needs to stretch them. They're very abundantly tight muscles in our everyday lives in modern society. So if you're thinking about protecting your back, these have a big effect. The piriformis locks out the sacroiliac joint if it's too tight. The psoas tilts the pelvis forward, which creates an increased lumbar curve, which can put you in a more vulnerable position when you're doing the classes like burn and strong and any exercise really. So I want you to push your knee down into the ground for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rotate your hip forward, your left side of your hip forward to increase the stretch. Breathe in, push your knee down, rotate forward with the left side of the hip. And then just squeeze both sides of your hip down. So you try to go towards the ground with your pelvis. Okay. When you're ready, just come gently out of that stretch. It's always a good idea to come out of a stretch in a different way that you got into the stretch. So it doesn't just remind the muscle to shorten and tighten again. So let's go on the other side. Left side, cross over, go down onto your forearms and walk this back leg backwards. Squeeze your right side of your hip down towards the ground, feeling a stretch in the left side of your hip. Take a big breath in. Push your knee into the ground. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out and rotate the right side forward again. Breathe in. Push the left knee. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Rotate the right side forward again. One more time. Breathe in. Contract. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out and sink down towards the ground. Hold for 15 seconds, focusing on deep breathing. Again, visualize the muscle relaxing. Visualization is very important in stretching. We've got to really increase that mind-muscle connection. That applies to training and to stretching. It's not just about movements, it's about detail, it's about connection. Okay, and then come out of the stretch in a different way to what you got into it. Okay, so I'm going to move on to another stretch that often gets confused with the one we've just done. The one we've just done is a piriformis stretch, a pigeon stretch, whatever you want to call it, but it targets that deep hip rotator, which is so important. But there are many different aspects of the glutes, and we can hit all the other fibers using a 90-90 stretch. So I'll move back here so you can see better. What you're going to do here, it's 90-90 because you've got a 90-degree angle at the front, at the knee, and a 90-degree angle at the back, at the knee. So look at right angles. Okay, you're pointing that way towards the line of the front thigh. you're not going to do what I see all over the place, which is collapse into it like that. We're going to stretch from the glute, which means not from the lower back. We're going to pick up our chest and pivot like you would do when you're hinging in the gym. So chest up, pivot over, pivot over. You can support yourself with your hands, but only as far as your lower back can stay in that positive curve. And you can feel it deep in the glutes. If you can't feel it, you can hit different angles. So you might not feel it that way, but then if we go 10 degrees inwards, you get a better stretch. So hunt the stretch, find the stretch that's relevant for you. And we're gonna, once you get to that point, breathe in, push this knee down into the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then with the out breath, go pivot forward, but lift in the chest as well. Get a really nice stretch on the glutes. Breathe in. Push your knee down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. And increase the stretch and increase the lift. Your lower back might have to work quite hard doing this. Support yourself so it's not, so everything's not grabbing on. And try to relax into the stretch. Breathe in. Push down, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down one more time. Okay, it's at full length now. Okay, come out of it in a different way. So that's a stretch in your own time, you could spend quite a long time doing and hit every angle and really get a full-on release of the glutes. And that'll help most of you no end. So let's swap to the other side. So 90-90, so that front leg at 90 degrees and the back one at 90 degrees. Come up, chest up, pivot forward from the hips. So I'll try and move my hands so you can see the difference. That is incorrect. That is correct. Breathe in. Push down with your knee. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then stretch further, lifting your chest. Breathe in. Contract. 2, 3, 4, 5. And go a bit further again, lifting your chest. Breathe in. Push. 2, 3, 4, 5. And again. Hold at the end point, 15 seconds. And then come out of it in a different way. What I'm going to do is, I'm recording this video, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on YouTube afterwards so you can repeat. This is something you should be doing regularly, and while we've got a bit more time potentially on our hands, then and this would be a really good outcome if we could all be more mobile by the end of it. None of you will be shown because I'm keeping you on the big screen, so it'll just be me on the video. In case anyone doesn't want to be on YouTube. So don't worry about that. Okay, right. How are we feeling? Good? Yep. So let's move on, and I want you to stretch your hamstrings now. So you're going to get a towel, the magic towel, and then lie on your back. I'll just give you all a second to grab one. You're going to hook the towel underneath your foot like that. Try and hook it underneath the front end of your there. So you can pull the calf into a stretch as well. The calf is on the same fascial line as the hamstrings, which means it'll increase the fascial stretch. So head back, pull up until you feel that lovely hamstring stretch. Take a big breath in, push your toe away, and imagine you try to pull your heel down like that, but you're resisting with the towel. So push, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then as you breathe out, bring it higher up. Or if you're super tight like me, just try and straighten your leg up. Breathe in, contract, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, nice. Breathe in, contract, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax there. Hold for 15 seconds. And then bend the knee and come out of it a different way. Okay. Hook the towel on the other one. If you want to add variation to this stretch, then you can target different hamstrings by pointing your foot in different directions. So you could do the same stretch, pointing the toe inwards, neutral, or out, and you'll hit different hamstrings. So bring the leg up, breathe in, push, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Focusing on your breath. Breath is super important with this. Make sure you fill your belly with every in-breath. Breathe in, contract, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, relax. Okay, breathe in, contract, breathe out, and relax. And if like me, your knees bending, just straighten it out and hold there for 15 seconds. I really need to do this more. That's good. Relax into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And down you go there. Good. Okay, so to recap, we've done the hip flexors, we've done the piriformis, we've done the glutes, and we've done the hamstrings. So I think now is appropriate to try and do a release on the quads. I think we'll just do a simple standing up version of this stretch. So you just need to support yourself against something. And it's the old school pull your heel to bum stretch. Now, let me just show you what people do wrong to make it easy for themselves here. So they'll do what I'm doing right now, which is keep the psoas shortened by bringing your knee forward. What I want you to do is bring your knee back in relation to your hip, pull your stomach in, fix the pelvis, and then try and squeeze your heel towards your bum. If you're not there, then breathe in, push your knee back into your hand, and then as you breathe out, pull the heel towards your bum even further, pushing that hip forward. Breathe in, Contract. Breathe out. And relax. One more time. This time, really try and bring the knee back a bit further. Breathe in. You can take the hips into a bit of a stretch in terms of the hip flexors. Because one of the quads is a hip flexor as well. The rectus femoris. Okay, hold that for 15 seconds. And then come out of it in a different way. Okay. Oh, legs feel like jelly. Okay, let's go with the other stretch. So if I turn this way, pull your heel to your bum, push your hip forward, and squeeze in. Breathe in. Contract. Breathe out. And stretch further. Breathe in. Contract. Breathe out. And stretch further. Now I'm starting to push into my right hip and getting that Soleus stretch as well. Breathe in. Contract. Breathe out. And take it further. Now sink into it for 15 seconds. I think you're getting the drill by now. And then come out of it in a different way. While we're here, we should do a calf stretch. What you need to do is lean against the wall. Squeeze your heel down towards the ground. And then I want you to allow yourself to go further towards the wall, squeezing the heel and keeping that down. If you want a contract relax, it'd be to push the toe down into the ground. Breathe out and increase the stretch. Breathe in, push down, 4, 5, increase the stretch. Breathe in, push down, okay. Swap and do the other side. Heel down on the floor and then move your body, move your hips forward, stretching out the calf. Breathe in. Push your toe down of your left foot. Breathe out. And go further forward. What I want you to get out of today is that understanding of progression of stretch. Not just taking it to a comfortable point, but past it. Breathe in, push down, and go further forward. Squeeze. Hold there. And then come out of it in a different way. Okay, there's two parts to the calf. there's the gastrocnemius, which you've just been stretching, but there's a deeper calf muscle called the soleus. The way you get that is to do the same stretch we just did, but with a bent knee. So, like that, squeezing the heels towards the ground, but pushing the knee forward. This is harder to get, but hopefully you'll be able to feel it. Breathe in, push the toe down. Breathe out and squeeze the heel towards the ground. Breathe in, push the toe down. Breathe out and squeeze the heel towards the ground again. Hold there. Okay, and then come out of it again in a different way. So, bent knee. In fact, if I come around this side, you can see. Bent knee, squeeze the heel, and then try and get that knee further forward. And squeeze the heel down at the same time. Breathe in, push your toe down. And relax, drop your knee a bit further. Breathe in, push your toe into the ground again. And you should feel this really deep into your Achilles. I know I do. Hold there. And then come out of it by straightening your leg. And then through. Okay. We're half an hour in already. Just around the hips and the lower body. So I suggest we start to move on to the spine now and start to do a few mobilisations. So, get onto all fours. And what I want you to do is start with the flexion of the lower spine and then extension. Sorry, I've got that the wrong way around. Extension and flexion. And I want you to feel every vertebrae when you do this and visualize them going into its full end range of what's possible. Tuck your pelvis under when you go into that position. Point your headlights at the ceiling and lift your head. Feel the stretch into your abs. Then you go the other way. You might get a few facet joint releases. That's fine. Don't force anything. Just let the body release what it needs to in this pattern. Breathe in as you come up. Breathe out as you go down. Take it a little bit further than last time now. Okay. Now this time you're going to push through the floor. Put your hands where your shoulders are. Push your hips down into the ground. And then just straighten your arms and stretch your abdominals at the front. Push your chest out. Out. In fact, what we'll do the opposite stretching of what you feel is natural. So as you go into extension, naturally you breathe in. I want you to do the opposite to turn off all those muscles. So as you come up, I want you to breathe out. And as you come down, I want you to breathe in. And it might allow a little bit more mobilisation. So breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Really sink into your abs. Breathe in on the way down. Breathe out on the way up. 2 more. Breathe out on the way up. In on the way down. Okay. From this position, I want you to lift your hips. And then I want you to lift them even further into that position. Walk your feet up, head down, and then squeeze your heels down towards the ground. Remind the calves, the hamstrings, the length we're trying to get them to. Squeeze. And then drop your knees and go back into that position. Walk your hands forward and then off to the side. Those headlights on your backside again, you're going to point them, if your hands are going to the left, you're going to point the headlights to the left. And feel the stretch under the right. So you're going to feel that right under the lat. So if you're going to the left, it's the right lat. So keep your bum back on your heels. Don't walk forward and come with it. Anchor that point. And then walk your hands as far diagonally as you can. Let's just hold this one without a contract relax. Focus in on your breathing. And when you feel it give, walk a bit further. Focus in. Imagine it releasing. Okay. And then walk your hands the other way. Point your bum to the same side. Could feel a bit sharp, which is fine, but don't force it. You can get a nice stretch through into what's called your thoracolumbar fascia. You feel it connecting to the lumbar spine. Okay, good. Let's start to work on rotation. So, get back into a box position, knee shoulder width, and I want to start by just reaching underneath and feeling the spine go to its limit of rotation to that side. And then open out the other way. Breathe. Breathe out as you open up. Breathe in as you come through. Okay, and then swap and do the other side. So reach through. Might feel different one side to the other, that's fine. Be aware of it, start to tune into your body. Okay. Now we're going to stretch a little bit higher up. So stay in the box position and bring your hand up to touch your temple. At that point, you're going to rotate and point your elbow as far around as you can. Breathe in as you come down. Breathe out as you come up. Okay. Hand up there. Breathe in as you come down. Breathe out as you open up. Feels counterintuitive, but just go with it. One more. Okay, and then just go back to flexion and extension. So breathe out as you go into that position. Breathe in. Okay. Right, let's move on, shall we? So, I don't know how many of you have done this before, but we're going to do a rotational stretch. If you can anchor your hand down with anything, a table, a dumbbell, a book, a heavy book, then that'll be useful, but not essential. You can still do it otherwise. You're going to hold that arm down and lie in a cross formation. Then you're going to bring that leg over and put your hand on your knee. Take a big breath in, and I'm trying to rotate my knee back that way, and with the out breath, increase the stretch. The reason we're holding something here is so the shoulder doesn't ride with the stretch. Take a big breath, contract, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, and go further. You might feel this in the hips, you might feel it across the chest. It's all good wherever. Breathe in.
Dave?
Hello?
Is there an alternative I can do? Because I think these are messing with my back.
Is it spasmo? Okay. Why don't you do that hamstring pandiculation?
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
if you do a few glute bridges and without tucking the pelvis, that'll be really useful.
Okay, I'll do that. That's cool.
Then come back on and tell me how you do. Okay. Take a big breath, contract, and breathe in, contract, and relax. Try and get your knee all the way to the ground if you can. And then let's go the other way. Some of you may get a sacroiliac release when you do this, or a lumbar release. That's fine. Breathe in, contract, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, and relax. Breathe in, contract, and relax. One more, breathe in, contract, and relax, and hold. And then come back out through a different line. Okay. Okay. Is that all right, Marla? Yep, cool. You need more activation than mobility, so do some lower abdominal activations, glute activations, and hamstring ones. Okay, so now I want you to tuck one hand behind your back as high as you can. I want you to gently pull your head to the side and feel that stretch from your ear all the way down to your shoulder. So pull across. Don't be aggressive with neck stretching, which is why I'm not going to do a contract relax with you over video. So just hold it at stretch, focus on your breathing. And keep going with that. I'm just going to turn the heater off so you can hear me. Okay, let's do the other side. While we're stretching, I'll talk to you about regularity of stretching. If you want to make a change to a permanent change to the length of a muscle, it's no good just doing one stretch a week and doing it for a few weeks and going, yeah, I stretch. I do that. It takes consistency, and it takes about 8 weeks. So if you stretched every day for 8 weeks, you would achieve something that will stay with you. That's a lot, right? But I guess while we're on lockdown, I can set you a challenge of doing that. Even if it's just a 20-minute stretch, can you find 20 minutes in the day? Some of you can, some of you can't. If you can, then you can make a real difference. Okay, back to the first side. Bring the hand underneath, and I want you to pull the crown of your head diagonally forwards and down. This is a different stretch. It's not the trapezius, it's the levator scapulae, which goes from the top 4 vertebrae in the spine down to the superior medial border of the scapula, which is the top inside corner in English. So that's where you try to connect from, the top of the neck down to the top of the shoulder blade. So diagonally forward and hunt that stretch. Then we'll go on to the other side, crown of the head, diagonally forward. Hold that there. Okay, one more stretch. Find a door frame. Lean forward. Your elbow goes parallel with your shoulder. Lean forward past the door frame, and then rotate your rib cage away from the stretch and get stretch all the way across the pec. Keep the elbow supported. Breathe in. Push the arm into the frame. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. And rotate the rib cage even further. Breathe in. Contract. Breathe out. And relax. Hold there. Okay. Let's go to the other side. This is the last stretch. There's a whole load of other stretches that I was going to do, but I guess we're a victim of time. So next week I'll cover those as well. Rotate your rib cage away. contract. 4, 5, breathe out, and rotate away. Breathe in, contract, breathe out, and increase the stretch. On these contract relaxers, you have a 1 second window after the contraction where the nervous system will allow that extra stretch. So it's got to be synced with the relaxation and the out breath and the movement. Breathe in, contract, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel the fibers separate. Feel the filament stretching out like that. Hold it for 15 seconds. Okay. So for those of you repeat watching this on YouTube, if you did this every day or every other day, whatever time you can justify towards this, this would tick a lot of boxes. There's a lot of basics we've covered in here. Thank you very much. I will stop recording.